My name is by saying that it's an absolute pleasure to see all of you here this morning to attend DC Dialogue 2010. Before I get into the program details, I just thought I must give a brief history of DC Dialogue. My colleague Frederick and I started DC Dialogue in 2007 in Dubai, and to begin with, it was a very low-key affair. We had 10 people in the room discussing and deliberating on the topic operations and maintenance aspects of district cooling. And the discussion was very well, it was fantastic, and we had 4 hours of discussion on this topic, and lots of ideas were exchanged. At times the discussion was quite heated. Testimony would come from George, who's here, and from Ken, and Mr. Rabusa, who was also part of that inaugural DC Dialogue. What we did subsequent to that discussion was, as a magazine publishing company, we went ahead and published every single word of what was discussed. And this is what we produced. I don't know if you have seen this before, but this is the result of the first DC Dialogue. And we produced we produced an article that ran to, believe it or not, 41 pages, because, like I said, it contained almost every single word that was discussed in the room that day. And what surprised us was the kind of reaction we got, the response we got for this particular article, not only from the Middle East, but from Eurozone, from US, and George told me even, I think 3 weeks ago, something that, he still continues to be in touch with some of the people who wrote to him then in response to this particular discussion and what we carried in the magazine. And we're just hoping that today's discussion will have a similar response. It's, of course, we are in different times now. In 2007, I think that, of course, the industry was booming and there was a certain buzz to the district cooling industry. Today, of course, it's a bit more subdued. But what's heartening for me and for my colleagues is that so many of you have chosen to come today and be part of this discussion. It is a traditional roundtable format, which means that there should not be members of the audience, but we chose to do otherwise, and we went ahead and said that we want members of the audience to be part of this DC Dialogue, and I'm glad that so many of you have chosen to come. The topics for today are there are 3 topics. First one is contracting challenges, exploring new avenues for profitability. Second one is legal and arbitration issues in district cooling. And the third topic is metering and billing challenges in district cooling. Without further ado, I would like to excuse me, it is my duty and a privilege to thank the sponsors for this event. The gold sponsor is Teshem, and the silver sponsors are Landis & Gear and Camstud. And our associate sponsor is DLA Piper. One more point that I wish to make is that today is also a very special day for us because we are launching our website. It's a dedicated website to Climate Control Middle East magazine. I just hope that I have some time post-lunch to make a small presentation of what the website is going to be. We're starting in a low-key fashion as we did with our magazine, and we hope to evolve it into a much bigger website, but more of that later. I think we should start. We are a bit behind time. I shall ask Masood Raza of Far Technology, who has kindly agreed to be the moderator for this session. And Masood, if you could just come over, and thank you so much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The saying goes, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. It's really heartening to see so much people, such a robust gathering here, despite the fact that some quarters have started saying that there is no business such as district cooling. So I must congratulate you all personally to be part of this DC dialogue process. Now we will invite the participants, the panelists for the first discussion. The topic is the challenges faced by the contracting company in this downturn, especially those which are involved in district cooling business. Before we start the dialogue, we will have a brief introduction from the participants about what they have been doing and what they are doing now. I will start with myself. My name is Masood Raza. I am working for Power Technology as the head of engineering for the emerging district cooling company in Abu Dhabi. We have got about 400,000 tons of district cooling in different stages: design, conception, design, and construction stages. I have worked here in UAE for last 13 years, and I have an overall experience about 23 years working in different fields of MEP and specializing in district cooling. At a later date, when Kabir started their first commercial district cooling plant in Al Ain. And today, even now, I remember the first surveys which we did for different existing buildings to find the loads and things like that.
Good morning, my name is Ken Curry. I'm Mark McDonald, Technical Director. I'm based in Dubai. My basic background is mechanical. I've been in the industry, the cooling industry, for the last probably 37 years. Most of it spent in Africa and the Middle East. I'm responsible for all new projects and retrofit projects and for district cooling in the Middle East. We're involved in some pretty high-level projects. And before I actually joined Mark McDonald, I was involved in the packaged chiller market, developing products and designing chiller plants on a modular basis. So part of what probably I'll be, we might hear a bias towards solutions using that, but I'm a firm believer in packaging. So I'm saying it up front, that district cooling can benefit from all the types of technology.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mohammed Abu Sa. I'm currently the Regional Manager of Business Development at ADC Energy Systems. We're an EPC provider of energy solutions and infrastructure works. I'm a mechanical engineer by education. Been in project management for 3-4 years, since 1999, and then moved to business development since then. Most of our work as a company today is involved in renewable energy systems, district heating, district cooling. We have around, in our company, 450,000 tons of designed, executed, under construction district cooling plants in the Middle East and North African region.
My name is Abdullah Ziniye. I'm managing partner of a company called Rio Electromechanical. I've been on this company for 28 years. I've been involved for 15 years with oil and gas field for air conditioning, of course, and electromechanical. Since 2004, we have established company Rio. We are mainly concerned about district cooling. We have done almost now about 130,000 tons of plant room district cooling. We've been involved in the direct execution of MEP work of the district cooling. We know all of us now from 2008 started, I think, but still district cooling, I think we are already. So our company involved in all electromechanical job of the district cooling. Thank you.
Good morning, from Kevarajan. I work for Transcom and we're into district cooling since almost 2006-07, I would say. We have close to 150,000 tons of configuration carried out. My background is mechanical engineer and working for almost 10 years with Transcom.
Good morning, I am Prabhakar Naik, working for John Buck International as a senior project manager. It's a Mubadala company based in Abu Dhabi. I've been in the Middle East for 26 years and in UAE for the last 11 years as a consultant and utility provider in Palm District Cooling in Nakheel, and finally I joined John Buck to take care of the district cooling business, which is about one of the islands, which is Sava Island. I think about 150,000 ton capacity cooling plants will be coming up, and at the moment 80,000 ton plant is being built in 2 phases, and I'm into looking after all the infrastructure projects.
Yes, I'm Tawfiq Abu Saud, the Executive Director of Drake & Scull International, public non-stock company. Drake & Scull have been public or listed since last March 2009. District cooling is one of our main business, plus wastewater and water treatment. We have done in the range of 500,000 tons of design and build, in addition to construction for district cooling without design.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for your introduction. As you are all aware, these definitely are challenging times for the district cooling industry. It's also challenging time for other business, other construction business. But the point is that district cooling is a very highly specialized business, so the challenges are unique to this business. Now, as you have seen just now, we have on this table, around this table, specialists from different stakeholders of the district cooling business, including contractors, consultants, and owners also. So I am sure that this audience wants to get and extract as much as possible from this discussion about some of the strategic decisions that the district cooling industry has to take to survive, to grow, and go into a new lease of life. So what we have done, we have structured this dialogue into 2 sections, because the topic is challenges faced by the contracting fraternity, but this is not specific to the contracting people. It's common to all. So what we are asking that in the first section, we will ask the participants to give us their opinion about those challenges which are common to general contracting companies, but they are also part of district cooling business. And the next section will be more specific and more concentrated on the challenges being faced by the district cooling contracting firms. Also, we request the participants to be more forthcoming, even though there may be some things they want to withhold from the audience. But they should be more forthcoming and suggest methods how to change these challenges into opportunities, which in my opinion, every challenge is an opportunity for an entrepreneur. So let me start with Ken, who is a consultant. And we will ask him to tell us what are his expectations, especially with respect to the contractors in district cooling business. Have they changed during the recession, or they are the same as before?
Obviously, things are a lot tighter. I believe contractors are having a very rough time right now. I believe the owners of developers are having a very rough time getting the developers to put up buildings on their plots. District cooling is driven really by on the financial side. For district cooling companies to get finance these days is very, very difficult. And for district cooling companies to pre-qualify for finance, they have to have a robust business model. And in my opinion, that business model is failing. We're seeing the large companies having serious problems, even setbacks on jobs they're committed to because the offtake is not there. And to me, there's got to be a solution for district cooling which would gear the assets that have to be purchased and systems put into the ground to the revenue return to pay back the debt that's provided. So, in my opinion, also the way we started district cooling, I think we should take a breath and perhaps look back and think, would we have done it the same way today? And I tell you, I would say no. I think the product today would be a lot different to what has happened in the past. That's where it is. And contractors are geared up for this type of business. They put a lot of effort into developing. I think it's in a mad headlong rush. Now we're taking a breather, and contractors have some good value-added engineering proposals that have come to the fore to help solution. So, my take on the issue right now.
One of the points I would reiterate on that Ken mentioned is value engineering. The market simply has changed. It did not die. Things are slightly different now. We've seen and we are even part of that. Companies diversifying and expanding. It's no longer a single company only doing district cooling. Companies are now getting into MEP, power and water, renewable energy, industrial solutions, etc. As long as you have the right caliber to do that, which is the right engineering and execution teams. Value engineering is key, but the main challenge I believe contractors all over are facing now is securing payments from clients. Either for current projects that suddenly developers discover, oops, we don't need all that, or even new projects. Again, it goes back to what Ken mentioned, that they themselves, it's difficult for them to secure finance.
Well, I would raise the point of the value engineering. I don't think there is not many areas of VE in district cooling. There is probably new systems, new processes, but value engineering is very limited. It's not rocket science. It needs specialist engineering capabilities, but it's not something new. This is one thing I would say. So it needs more efforts into innovations and other things, not value engineering. The second point is the contractors are facing now actually into the pricing structure of the district cooling plants, because developers and clients, utility providers, are phasing out the projects for a very long period. We're talking about to do 50,000-60,000 tons for in a duration of 5 years, and they expect the contractor to maintain his price and to affirm his price for the duration of the 5 years. Install 10,000 tons a year to the infrastructure and maintain the whole lot, which is becoming very difficult, and we have been faced with developers are not willing to listen to the inflation clauses and to the escalation clauses, the protection for the contractors. It has to be a win-win situation.
District cooling, like any other trade, it's really follow the development. I can't say fortunately or unfortunately, district cooling is being built now only for the new development. Existing one, we haven't seen any project where it's looking for the existing one, very rarely. Most of the project is following new development. The moment now the new development is being slowed down, we found immediately that district cooling started to slow down. The challenging now for the existing jobs and for the new development. Existing job, as we know all of us, and this is a lesson we learned, that sometimes it was the loading capacity of the plant room does not match the existing actual demand. Now I think it starts to come back again, everybody to think again and recalculate the actual demand compared to what has been built and what we're going to plan. I think now owners as well as the developers are very prudent and very careful now in sizing the plant room, which is good. Everybody starts to be aware now. The expectation is more reasonable will be, and the lesson in the past, we just put the plant room and without really concentrate on the actual load, it has been there now. I think what happened, from one side, yes, slowdown is not good for everybody, but it's giving a break to everybody to reconsider what is the actual plan and how we are going to move from there. I think this is the challenge.
Apart from the challenges which you're sharing, the types of challenges which we are going through is definitely plants not getting commissioned on time, plants being mothballed, and which has got its own unique problems, and distributed cooling, phasing out of district cooling plants, similar challenge, and keeping people abreast of the technology, especially colleagues and employees, retaining the talent pool and collecting all the knowledge is also a challenge in this industry. which we try to conduct regular technical workshops within ourselves. Apart from that, there is not having enough power in getting the plants commissioned, which is also an issue which we are facing.
With all the points addressed by our colleagues, I can only add a little bit. It's the optimization of the plant usage. One of the six syndrome, like low delta T, is one of the main causes. The whole finance model is upside down, where we are supposed to control with certain rate or certain kilowatt per ton. It is being exceeded, and a portion of the total plant is being utilized. Say, if there is a 50,000 ton plant, hardly 30,000 can be utilized because of these syndromes. We need to address these issues, overcome, and try to minimize the what you call additional investment of money. Yeah.
Okay. At the end of this round, I must mention that all the participants have given the basic parameters that we will be discussing here. However, I want to bring back the discussion to the starting point where I said that what are the general challenges which are faced by the general contractors, not the district cooling contractors. Some of the points have already been mentioned, like the lack of funding and financing is an issue. Lack of availability of projects is also an issue, I guess. And we would like to get some more insight from other participants on the challenges. Other than this, value engineering is also a challenge which is common to both general contractors as well as district cooling contractors. What about personnel? Are you finding it easy to find the skilled people for the district cooling or for general contracting?
I think it is fairly better now, 2006, 2008. Whoever has good talent is keeping it, for sure. And there are a lot of people now who are in, how do you say, they have the right engineering knowledge, even if it's not enough district cooling experience. They can be molded into the district cooling. I don't think personnel is a problem. It's still a challenge to find personnel who are ready to go to certain areas in the region and execute projects there. But in general, the knowledge is there.
Any other take on this?
Yes, I think we admit all of us that due to the circumstances, where the people, most of them, they were involved in the project, and some of the projects have been withheld, some of them being delayed, some of them being cancelled totally. Definitely there is the, let us say, personal for the qualified people now, the availability much better than what happened before 2 years. It's not easy to find, but it's not difficult at the same time. I think the chances to get somebody qualified or has experience now is much better than 2 years ago. Yes, personal now, not the biggest challenge. Maybe finance is the and lack of projects.
I mean, people is not difficult now. Retaining them and specifically keeping them in terms of technology and in terms of happenings in the market, that's a challenge. So that they are not moved into the conventional jobs and they are not moved into conventional industry.
Yeah, and especially the slowdown of the project is costing a lot of money. Sustaining the people for a longer period, as Tawfiq said, 2 years projects, if it takes 5 years, all of their estimation, everything is upside down, and you have to maintain or sustain those people.
I believe that, I mean, the resources are available, and you only need one super engineer, okay, to handle 1,000 tons. We're talking the real engineering is in the concept design, is in the and that is if you have 5, 6 projects a year, it will not keep one super engineer occupied for the full year. The rest of the disciplines, like the controls, the electrical, the piping, it's all traditional mechanical and electrical engineering. So really these resources are available, but as was said here, we're having difficulties in finding. Now it's easing up to go to certain areas. We're having difficulties for people to go to Algeria, to Libya, to Saudi, to Sudan. And this is the areas where we have, or we are trying to to getting projects in because of the scarcity of the projects in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and Bahrain and Oman and the area.
So it's on another side, some companies who used to be big order log, let us say, their projects, and by chance some of the people already have contractor or district cooling, they've been affected by some projects. Now on the vice versa, to sustain their people, sometimes they have problems due to the delay or cancellation. So some people already they have redundancy. Now even to keep your people and to keep the same qualified, experienced people, sometimes it's a challenge, which is now it's happening, and depends on how you've been booked, how you've been busy, what type of order you have done it. So not really to recruit, sometimes to sustain what you have is another challenge.
Sustain the challenge. I mean, sustain the quality of personnel you have, of what you're selling. Your history is based on your performance and the level of people you have. And if you just let people go, keep people go, it leads to recovery. Because you're selling that's your reputation is based on that. So I believe in keeping a minimum core. As people, the right people, no matter what you do, even if they are sitting idle for a while on the task, just keep them.
I tend to agree with this actually. This is what we do because it's not going to be at the bottom for the rest of our lives. You know, it's going to start going up, and if you have the talents, you have to retain them if you can afford them.
Yeah. So the basic scheme is that cut the flap and keep the bones.
Okay, that's very good.
I feel a little bit of downbeat here, so I want to raise hope in the area. Maybe there is more than 1 million ton planned air conditioning district cooling in Abu Dhabi. 400,000 ton are in the capital district. The new Abu Dhabi stadium now 28,000 ton. The two universities, Zayed University and Khalifa University, requiring 20,000 ton each. There is New York University as well. We are involved in Saadiyat Island where the first phases require 42,000 ton. The Abu Dhabi airport is putting around 300,000 ton in the next 10-15 years. And the contractors from UAE are being called now to Kuwait University where around 100,000 ton are being planned. Mecca and Medina, we had two conferences there where we showed about 1 million ton of district cooling plant in Saudi Arabia. I'm also now voting for a Lusail area in Qatar where around 400,000 ton are being planned. According to the Minister of Oil in Saudi Arabia, he's saying today Saudi Arabia is consuming 3.5 million barrels of oil internally. If a business goes as usual like today, they will consume 7 million barrels out of 12 million they are producing by 2030. Now I told them this is a national disaster and they know it's a global disaster because there will be shortage of energy. And it's a security disaster because if the world will run out of oil, then we know that this might be more risk for battles and wars for scarce resources.
So the oil is for power consumption, is that the same?
What I noticed from you are waking up from a hurricane, we are picking up the pieces. But I want to raise hope here. I think the future is robust. The future is there for you. I remember when we started, contractors and consultants looked nervously at district cooling as Buckingham business. Now I see most of you who has probably resisted in the beginning has embraced it later and become strong supporter, which is there. Now what we have to do with governments to create the changes where government can support infrastructure and support regulation to support district cooling. This is what is lacking. If we can do this, the future will be more than robust. This is just, I want to give you a ray of hope here. I mean, your expertise is being looked at in all the area. All MENA region are looking at your EU contractors. I mean, the full is going there. So, just for Masoud, have a little bit upbeat. That's it for me.
Thank you very much for putting some light back into the discussion. And because this is now a positive note, let's start with a positive input from the participants. One of the challenges that we have got mentioned here is the financing, the problem of financing. As I mentioned before also, every challenge is an opportunity. Let us investigate how the problem of financing can be solved in an innovative way by, is there any strategic decisions that you have to take for solving these financing problems?
You mean financing for contractors or for developers?
Yeah, this is better if we just concentrate on the contractors issue for the time being, because that is the discussion mostly focused on contracting challenges.
We have done the first model for us in our company about 3.5 4 years ago in Sudan, where we went on a DBFO, design, build, finance, and operate. So really, we do not own the assets. The client owns the assets, but we finance the assets. Okay. We're moving into this area in a couple of projects actually, because of the slowdown in the development, so we cannot guarantee the offtake. That if we go into BOT, okay, we cannot guarantee the offtake, so we cannot have a viable financial model. But when we go to DBFO, now we cannot do this with all the clients because we go into